Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast. Across my living room from me today is Miss Rachel Horter.
Hello. How are you?
Welcome to my house.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It's beautiful.
Off mic today, we have a co-host as well. We have Miss Phyllis Vance Refrigeration, my new dog.
Vance Refrigeration.
Vance Refrigeration.
No, she's iconic.
Yes, she
I
is
love her.
Gorgeous.
She's
She's just sitting there on the couch right now, just watching.
Yep, she's just watching. I mean, that's her kingdom over there. You can just tell with her little blankie.
I got her a few days ago. I got her, I think 5 days ago now.
Oh
6
my
days
gosh.
ago. And she's a dream. I got her from the Nashville Humane Association, who we did a show with last year over at Von Elrod's.
Oh,
called
cool.
Yappy Hour.
I love that.
And I called it Nashville Dog Stop, where everyone brought their dogs, and we dressed them up in costumes for Halloween. And then there were puppies up for adoption.
That's so cool.
And
I wish I could have been there.
And when my friend was fostering this little pup here, she said she needed a new home. And I was like, please take that Instagram story down. She's mine. So I got her home, and she's honestly like getting those heavy eyes right now. She's trying to not fall asleep.
Yeah. I was just shocked because I came in here. She didn't bark at me. She didn't even get up to
she's
run
just
over.
eh.
Yeah, she's like, hey, welcome to my house that I haven't even been in for a week. What's up, girl? And I just I don't know. I love that. She's just so chill and so sweet.
I know some dogs are really spazzy and everything.
Right.
She's only hyper the moment she gets out of her crate in the morning.
Oh, really?
And that's when she needs to go to the bathroom outside. And then when she comes back inside, she immediately falls back asleep.
Oh, what a life. Oh,
what a life.
You.
I know. I've gotten nothing done in the last week.
I wouldn't either, Aaron.
Yeah.
There's no way. I would be enjoying this time.
Yep. So on mic today, if you do, God forbid, hear a little bit of a jingle, she might be shaking her collar, but looks like she's already falling asleep. It took a whole 2 minutes of us talking for her to fall asleep.
That's so cute. Oh my gosh. I love that she feels safe enough to do that.
Yep.
Too.
She feels safe at home now.
So
but enough about Phyllis. Let's talk about Rachel. I don't remember how we met.
Okay, so I do.
Okay,
you
what's the
texted
story?
me about this yesterday, and you're like, this is what I asked people. I'm like, okay. And you know what? I actually listened to the episode with Brandon.
Oh, did you really?
Guys did, yeah. And then I remember you asked him about that, and I was like, oh my God, I don't even know how I met him, actually, when I was thinking about it. But anyway, so I went back, because I was like, okay, I'm either going to go back in, our Instagram messages or
our
texts.
DMs.
Yeah. So I went back in our texts.
Oh, my God.
And we didn't even meet on a tour stop note.
Really?
Yes. So you used to be in a duo.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Uh-huh. We played a writer's round together at Doghouse.
Oh my God. We did?
Yes. I think I actually didn't even look at the date. But it was probably 2019.
It would have been either early 2019 because the duo broke up in April of 2019.
Gotcha.
So it might have been either 2018 or 2019 early.
Yes. So I was playing on that round with you guys, and then someone else, I forget who else was there, but I was just I was like, wow, I totally forgot about that because I haven't played at Doghouse in a long time.
I haven't even thought of going there in ages.
I know, it's been a while. So and then I think we might have talked afterwards, and you told me about you ran Nashville Tour Stop, and which I already knew about and everything like that. So, and then you hit me up to play it, and then Doghouse.
Wow.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. Isn't that insane?
That is crazy because I don't even really remember much about playing there.
I know. I've only played a couple rounds there. And I
because they never tried being a venue. It always seemed like it was a sports bar first.
For sure. I did a couple full band showcases that my friend AJ had put together sometimes too. But yeah, this was all pre-COVID stuff. It's so crazy how different, at least for me, life has been pre and post COVID.
Oh my God, no joke.
So even venues I play, I'm like, wow, I don't even play there anymore. It was all stuff before 2020. And
when did you move here?
I moved here in 2013.
Wow, you've been 18. Here for 10 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, 10
That's
years
incredible.
in October. I was 18 years old.
Right out of high school.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I was going to go to college. I was going to go to Purdue University, Boiler Up. But I didn't. I ended up, because I was just always worried about, like, I just know me, and like I knew I was going to have a great time in college. I was going to live with like one of my best friends, like to this day. I was going to live with her, and I was excited about that. And you know, I had no idea what I wanted to do, because like I always wanted to pursue music, but like coming from, you know, Fort Wayne, Indiana, it's just like not really like a.
It's not a career there.
Yeah, it's not really like a logical path. So I was like, okay, I kind of want to like a degree to fall back on just in case. But I kind of felt like, you know, if I went to college, I wasn't going to go for music because I didn't want to. I was like, you know, I'm never going to have time to practice. So what if I get worse? And then I'm always going to worry about the what ifs later on. And I just didn't
College will always be an option.
That's what everyone told me. Like, my parents were so supportive of me moving here.
That's cool.
Like, so, like, they wanted me to go here. And like, but I was like, no, I have to do the college route like all of my friends are doing. Like, I have to, you know, and I'm so glad that I listened to them and did that route. Because they told me that. They were like, college will always be there. You can always go back to school. And you know, and that's what I did. I moved here, and then I have 3 younger sisters, and they have all gone or are at Purdue.
Wow.
And my second sister, right after me, I would just go visit her and live. Like, I'd have the college experience for a weekend and then go back to Nashville.
Have a proxy weekend.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have to study, but I can go to all the bars with my friends and, you know, act a
nobody
fool.
nobody loves going to 8 a.m. class.
Absolutely
the fun
not.
part is the party on Friday night, and you can go get enough of that with your sisters.
Exactly. Yes, because I was never I was never good at school.
I was not either.
No, I had to work really hard.
I had to work so hard to get C's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so until I got into college where I could take music classes, I didn't do well. Like in high school, I was a very C, and if I got a B minus, I felt good.
Like woo. Yeah.
But like my senior year of high school, when I finally was able to take like almost all music classes, I was like, I'm good at something.
Oh my gosh.
I'm good at something.
Yeah, choir class was always my favorite.
I got an A in choir.
Yes. I did like A's, B's, mostly B's, but we had like a senior privilege.
Okay.
So second semester of senior year, if you had an A minus or above in the class, you did not have to take the final. So it was an awesome incentive to do well. Yeah. So I ended up having to take, one final. I was supposed to take 2 because I did AP psychology, which I did pretty horribly in. But the AP classes...
I'm glad that you didn't sugarcoat it. You're just like, it was bad.
No, I was terrible. The AP classes, you didn't have to take a final in because you had to do the final exams. So that was cool. But I did have to take a final in pre-calculus. And yeah, I got a B in college algebra, and I was like, the fact that I got a B in a math class is remarkable. Yeah. Oh, that's like an accomplishment, darling.
Yeah, I felt good. I felt good happy that year. And yes. I remember when the final came up, I was just like, I don't care.
That's how I was too. Yeah. I literally didn't even, because it was first period too, so I took
mine was first period also.
I took the final first, and then I was literally done with school. I didn't even I loved my teacher though. Shout out Miss Stierheimer, she was the shit. But I literally didn't even study for it because I had senioritis.
Me neither.
So
absolutely
bad.
Not.
I took the final. I think I passed the class, no joke, with a D. First time in my life. But I was like, you know what? I'm graduating. I'm bad at math. I'm never going to major in anything math. When I was in
college, so I went to University of Missouri very begrudgingly, but it's because I was so bad at school, and I always knew music was the move. Like even from when I was in high school, like I decided I was going to be in music my senior year, and I was like, I'm not even going to try to be like a music teacher. I was like, I'm going to go be a musician somewhere.
Good.
So I had decided that really early on, but my family was like, go to college, get the fallback. So I did that, and I transferred 3 times and changed my degree 4 times because I hated everything I did.
That's what happens.
And I remember taking this French, it was like French 1000, like freshman French, my senior year of college. And I got a D minus. I got a 60.1%. And there is no way that I actually got a 60% because I remember I went to every like office hours thing trying to get my grade up with the teacher. And she came up to me after the final. She goes, "Did you study for this at all?" And I was like a lot. And she goes, "Dude, you're terrible at this." I was like,
no.
I was like, I know. I'm an adult too. I can read. I know math. I know 60% is one above failing.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Do you need this class to graduate?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "You're good."
Oh,
she
bless
pitied
her.
me. She pity passed me.
Bless her. Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as I
gosh.
graduated, I was like, I'm absolutely not doing any more school. And 6 months later, I moved to Nashville. It's just like that was the only plan, was just getting somewhere with music.
Totally.
So was there ever a different city you thought about moving to, or was it always Nashville?
It was always Nashville because honestly, it was closest to my family. I think that was
Like 6-7 hour drive home?
yeah, 6.
That's not bad at all.
Not at all. It's just boring, very flat.
Flat.
Like
farmland.
you pass Louisville and it's like civilization, and then you're done for another 4 hours. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it was. I'm very close with my family.
That's nice.
And being that young, I could like if I had to move to like New York or LA now, like easily I could do it, like totally fine. But when I was that young, like going that far away
It's
was
a safety net.
really
a little
scary.
Bit.
Yeah, for sure. So just being that close was really nice. And back then I was doing country. I'm not country anymore,
Right.
but like, so it was kind of no brainer.
Were you
it was
doing
right
like
there.
traditional pop country kind of stuff?
Yes, yeah. Because
I can't even pretend to hear you singing like pop country stuff now.
Isn't that funny?
It's
I
so
know.
funny because I've only ever known you as like the R&B, like bluesy kind of.
No, I love that.
Whatever. I don't even. What do you call yourself?
Yeah, I mean, like I call it like pop R&B.
Pop
like,
R&B.
Yeah.
I can't even pretend like singing about a truck.
No. No, no, that's never been my vibe. I've always like, unfortunately, just been naturally like bougie. I'm like, I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I want to sing
the
about
disco
like
stuff, like
yeah,
the disco ball,
stuff, or like
you've
singing
got a little
about
bit
designer
of bougie.
clothing or something.
And you're always so stylish. I mean, even today with
thank
the
you.
pink, your nails match your suit.
They do. I know. I love the neutral beige thing right now.
You are very matching right now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I try my best. Amazon's best,
Yeah, I never see you perform when you're not like done up to perform.
I know.
Like,
I kind of go all out sometimes.
some people really will just come to their writers' rounds in sweatpants. And
hey, if it's your brand, do it.
Yeah, but I'm like, I try to think of it as like you're applying for a job.
I know.
And it's hard to get promoted. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And
exactly.
Like, if some people, man, if I came to a writer's round to dress in gym shorts and an old ratty t-shirt, like
totally.
I'd be like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine. So when did you make the
so
transition from country music into this pop R&B stuff?
I want to say it was probably like,
more importantly, why did you decide to make that change?
When I moved here, most of my life, I grew up listening to country music. Mm-hmm. I went to a birthday party in like 7th grade, and everyone was dancing to like these top 40 hits, like "Yeah" by Usher.
Oh yeah.
It was like that era. And I knew none of the songs because I was just raised on country like my whole life. Here and there, when I was like 5 years old, like I loved Britney Spears and NSYNC and stuff, but like that's like the extent of my pop, So I just I was like, man, I got to do some like research. So I started like listening to the top 40 stuff, and I think it was like AOL. They used to have like music or something.
Yeah,
like I would
did.
go on AOL Music and listen to that.
I had AOL Music.
Yeah. So I discovered like one of my first songs that I loved was The Sweet Escape by Gwen Stefani.
Oh, what a
Iconic.
fantastic song.
Iconic, yes. And then I heard Buy You a Drink by T-Pain.
Oh, and that changed you.
That changed me. Like he's still like one of my favorite artists to this day. And I was like, I love this music. Like I'm, and I honestly, like I credit like Shania Twain's the reason I started singing. Carrie Underwood taught me.
Right.
Like I always say that as I grew up.
You've got that country foundation.
Exactly. So I had the foundation. I always just, I wanted to play CMA Fest. I wanted a CMA award. Like that was always a dream, And senior year, I started, thinking more seriously about pursuing this as a career. In addition to college, I was going to do both. And I, discovered like some of the pop girls like Christina Aguilera, Whitney Houston is like, major for me too. Yeah. Queen. Like no one will ever top her ever. And, so I think that's when I started kind of expanding on like melodic abilities. And
that's something I've always noticed about your music is how, your melodies are so signature.
Thank you.
They're so original. Some people, myself included, are not good at writing melodies to their songs.
Well, I'm not a lyric person.
Right.
Because
you don't play guitar yourself, do you?
I don't, no. And I have to credit to a lot of the songwriters I write with have awesome melodies, that help with that. Like Seth Cook, like he's produced a lot of my stuff and he's like so bomb with melodies and harmonies. So he's like just collaborating with him on that kind of stuff has been really fun. But yeah, so I just, I got here doing the country thing like 100%. And it ended up like I didn't even write also when I got here. Like that came later. But
really?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but once I started writing, like a few years down the road, I was discovering like I was writing a lot of pop melodies, but trying to be country because that's what I wanted to do. And then, Maren Morris came up and I was like, she does like the country pop R&B thing perfectly. Like she executes that so well. So I'm like, that's what I want to, stick to because I'm like, it can be done. Like, look at Maren, it can be done.
She's a really good example of an excellent crossover artist.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Because
amazing.
If you listen to the middle, that's 100% not a country song.
Yeah. No,
but
no.
But My Church is absolutely a country song, and it's proof that you can do both.
You can absolutely. You can
have both,
and it's just starting, especially in the streaming world. It's all starting to just collide, like no matter what, Did
you go to the Maren Morris concert at Bridgestone last December?
I didn't. No.
Oh my God, it was so incredible.
Perfection. Like I'm so jealous.
It was awesome. I got a free ticket.
She's insane. Oh, did you really?
I got a free ticket.
Let's go.
It was incredible. And about halfway through the show, she was saying some of her thank yous, and she gave a shout out to Belcourt Taps. And I just heard some other people go, "Hey, that's our place."
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah, I was just like, "Oh, it's true. All the rumors are true.
All the rumors are true." Yeah, I saw her. Oh my God, I was actually just telling one of the really sweet servers at Supper Club last night. I was talking to her about Maren Morris. I saw her at CMA Fest on like a tiny stage outside of Nissan Stadium. I think it was still LP Field at the time.
This would have been a long time ago then.
It was probably, I think it was 2016, maybe.
Okay.
And she was on like a tiny stage, 2015, tiny stage outside of the football stadium for BMI.
Wow. So that was only a couple years after she moved here. She moved here in 2013.
Yeah, exactly. And she, she was playing like acoustic trio. And the only like big thing, she was like, oh, this next song I got cut on, Kelly Clarkson cut it on her most recent album. And we were like, oh, how cool. There's probably like 100 people there. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Good for her. And then she plays this song called My Church. And I was like, this song like rocks. This song is amazing. So it was like November time. I was listening to Spotify and I was listening to like a country playlist. And I hear My Church by Maren Morris. And I was like, oh my God, that's that song.
You're like, I remember.
Yeah. So I played the shit out of it like on repeat. And then literally a year later, it was the following June, 2016, I went to go see Keith Urban at my local arena in Indianapolis. And she opened for him.
Wow.
And as I was walking in as she was starting, and there were, thousands of people in this arena, and she's singing My Church. And I was teary-eyed because I was like, that's wild. Because I went from seeing her on this tiny stage to like 100 people, like acoustic trio. We were sitting on the grass, and now she's at this huge amphitheater opening for Keith Urban.
It's incredible how fast that can happen.
I know, and it's so real. It's so real. Like once I was taking trips to Nashville as a 17-year-old, I was like, this can actually like happen. Like this is real life.
And that's why I've said it before on the podcast, but that's why we move here, because this is where it happens.
Exactly.
I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way in Indianapolis or in Columbia, Missouri.
I wish it did.
But it doesn't.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And it can happen in LA and maybe Chicago and New York, but it just doesn't happen in little town USA.
Right.
We have to be in these places. It's just a proximity thing.
It's so true. Yeah, just the people you're around. But
Are you familiar with a duo called Smithfield?
Yes.
So I had them on the podcast last year and learned it's that proximity thing, because they were playing at the old Listening Room Cafe. I think they said it was a couple of days before Thanksgiving years ago. And they were like, nobody came. Literally nobody came. Whoa. They said there was like 6 people there. There were almost more people on stage than there were there to watch. But they were talking about how important it is to just still care. Like, put on a good show for those 6 people. They showed up, put on a good show for those 6 people. And it turns out one of them was in charge of booking the Grand Ole Opry. And they got to play the Opry because of that.
Wow.
So it's proof that, like, that wouldn't happen. You can't play to 6 people in nowhere, Missouri, like where I came from, and expect the person who books the Grand Ole Opry just to be there.
Exactly.
But it can happen here, and it does all the time.
All the time. And that's the thing too, like I love Nashville too, because like so many of even like the big like execs and agents and stuff, they're so normal. Like they're normal, really kind, nice people who just like are out to dinner with their husbands or wives and kids, and
they're going out for a night just like we do.
Exactly.
Except their job is to find who they want to work with.
And play like major stages.
Yeah. It's like, who's going to play at the Ryman next week or next year? And like, that person.
Exactly.
And they have the power.
They can do it. It's
when
really
I was
amazing.
driving for Lyft back in 2019, I think it was. It was around the time I started doing Nashville Tour Stop full time, but I was driving Lyft to supplement my income a little bit. I got a pickup from the Ryman, and it was just 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I picked up this guy and I asked him what he did, and he said he was the talent buyer for the Ryman. Like, he was the guy.
Wow.
And he's like, "What do you do?" I was like, "I'm a musician."
Yeah, like,
and I remember he gave me his card, and he's like, "If you can ever sell 3,000 tickets, give me a call." And I was like,
period.
I will.
Will do. I will.
I still have his information. And
good. And you
one
will
of these
call
days, if I can sell that many tickets, I will reach out.
100%. 100%. And it's going to happen.
But it's crazy. Like, again, to say it just happens here. Those people they're just here.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it here.
Oh my God, me too.
And
it's just a great energy.
I mean, it kind of breaks my heart, because there's millions of people here, or maybe hundreds of thousands of like musicians just here trying to find that one person. They're trying to get that lucky one interaction.
I know.
And that's why I tell people it's important just to go out and do stuff. You're not going to get seen on your couch.
No. It's just, and it doesn't matter what kind of show it is. If you're doing,
it doesn't.
It could be a cover gig. It could be a writer's round. It could be a showcase. It does not matter.
They might just be there. Yeah. Like a band that has played tour stop several times called Trip. They're triplet brothers.
Oh my God.
TRIPPP.
Cool.
But they rock. They're like this country, alt country, rock country, whatever you want to call them, from Arkansas, but they live here in town now. And they played tour stop showcases several times. And on recommendation, I told a talent buyer for I think it was Tin Roof that they needed to come watch this band, and because of that showcase, they got a 32 city tour. It's like it just happens.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important. Like, you may not get paid for this gig. There may not be a bunch of people there, but it doesn't matter if there's 1,000 people there.
Oh, that doesn't matter at all.
It matters if that one person is there.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. It's just like I kind of made a rule for myself last year, and I followed it pretty well. And it's like, if I am like losing money on original gigs, like I've lost money, you know, playing out of town because I pay out of pocket for that kind of stuff. It is so worth it. You're playing your music and you're getting it out to people. And it doesn't matter if you're like, to me right now, it doesn't matter if I'm like making a bunch of money from it. It's like I'm getting my music like
breaking even on a gig sometimes is enough.
Oh, that even too. Yes. Like that's just like, as long as like it's my original music and like, you know, it's one thing for people to listen to it, but for me to physically be standing in front of them in another city and singing it and playing it for them, that's like everything to me. So that's, you know, I'll pay money all day long.
What's the fire under your butt that makes you what's that compulsion that makes you want to play?
I think I just want to, I mean, this may be narcissistic to say, but I'm really proud of the music I make.
Mm-hmm. You should be.
Thank you. But I am, and I love just getting it in front of people. And what's really cool about my day job is I meet a lot of people from all over the place. And when I play in a city that's their city or close to it, they hit me up and they're like, I'm coming. Because they cool. You know, I meet them at this cover gig show. They follow me, they listen to my music, they end up liking my music, they come to my shows where I'm playing the original music. It goes what
counts.
It's just like a connection, and that's why I just love getting it in front of people, because it's like when you go see like one of your favorite artists perform, you know, like you want to hear that stuff you've been listening to on the records repeatedly live.
It makes you excited to hear that, even if it's one song that you know from their Spotify. You're like, that's the one. Yeah. I've listened to that one 1,000 times.
Yes.
And for that 3.5 minutes or whatever, you get to vibe. And you're just,
exactly.
This is the moment.
Exactly. Just being able to make people feel good it's
cool.
It's so cool.
Like I remember that feeling when I was in high school, because I played in a little like alt rock band, and we were 17. We didn't have any money to like do an album.
Yeah.
And our friends would come to our shows and they knew the words to our songs because they just came to the shows. And it's cool seeing that like your people resonate with it.
Oh yeah.
It's that visceral thing, and we're chasing that thing where we get to watch them watch us.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
It's so cool.
Knowing they're into the moment.
Yes. And it's like it makes you feel like, oh, this, you know, music I'm writing and creating, and like it's
good.
It's good. Like I love that people enjoy that, you know? It's just like, oh, it means like everything.
Well, let's take a quick break. I got more I want to talk about, but let's take a commercial break and we'll come right back with the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast. And we're back with the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast. Rachel Horter and Phyllis, the dog, sitting across from me today.
Oh, I love her so much.
I know. She's just been sleeping the whole time.
Yeah, she's vibing out.
I call her so many different things. I call her Phyllis. I call her Lil Phil.
Lil Phil.
Dog Phil.
Oh. Oh.
Dog Phil.
Oh, I see. Okay, that took me a long time. I'm sorry. Dog Phil. I'm like, what does that mean?
Phillosaurus. Sausage. Noodle dog. And
she is quite long.
And Lil Baby.
Lil Baby. I think I like Lil Phil the best.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Phillosaurus Rex.
Yes.
But let's talk about this day job. You play, as far as I know, you only are a musician. You don't have a regular 9 to 5. You're a cover musician you're a working musician.
Yes, I'm very lucky.
What are some of the venues you play at right now?
So I play at the Supper Club.
Okay.
At 12:30 Club on the weekends, and then I do Ole Red on Tuesdays. So
the thing that breaks my heart is that you're playing at Ole Red when I've always had my shows at Tin Roof.
Aaron,
and I always walk by and I'm like,
literally, yes.
Like, you're my friend's on stage, and they're like, because I always have my backpack, and the security guard's like, you can't bring that in. And I'm like, I'm just going to say hi to my friend.
Yeah, it's like I know her. I'm sorry.
I know
him. I remember because I think you've asked me once or twice to play on a round at Ole Red, and I'm like, it's always when I'm playing.
You're like, it doesn't ever change. Remember?
Yeah, it's like it's every Tuesday, pretty much.
So, what's it like being a working musician on Broadway?
It's amazing.
I've never done it.
It's amazing. I highly recommend if people are thinking about doing it. But before I went full time, I did a couple jobs here and there, but before I did the full-time Broadway thing, I worked at a brunch spot here in town, and I loved it. I loved my coworkers. Oh my God, they were amazing. They came to, all of them came to my EP release show when I put my first EP out. They were all so supportive. But it was, it was a really tough job sometimes because it was very early mornings and, 8 hours at a very busy, touristy kind of place. And I would work almost 40 hours at some points,
wow.
like in the summertime, just because it was real busy. And even then it was, or I would work, 30, 35.
Mm-hmm. But after 40 hours of doing a regular day job, it really spins your mental faculties. You don't really want to do anything else.
That's the thing too. It's just, I was not writing back then, and I would, work 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'd go home and take a nap, wake up and go do a writer's round. And I would have no time or energy to write.
Right.
And sometimes I would, play closing shifts on Broadway until 2 a.m. and then work at 6 a.m.
I've done a similar thing before. It's rough.
It was really brutal. And now, granted, I was early 20s. I had the energy. I mean, I was partying a lot back then anyway, so I was like, whatever. But the fact that it exists for all of us, it's really, really cool. And it's not for everybody. And that's totally fine. But a lot of people are I posted something, I don't even know if you saw it, but I posted something on my Instagram story because I came across a TikTok about a musician in town talking a lot of smack on Broadway. And
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was just kind of it rubbed me it's so the wrong way because he was like, yeah, those people get caught up doing the cover band thing and then they have no energy to write. And I'm like, that's literally the opposite of my life.
You're just because you had that experience does not mean that that's my experience.
Right. It's just and I just I went on his page and he talks about what he does for a day job. And it's quite obviously, it looks like an 8-hour, kind of deal. And I was just and you have energy to write? Because I didn't. I mean, good on you if you do, but I certainly did not when I was.
I have to resist the urge so hard to talk smack back.
I know. I know.
To comment back.
I don't normally do that, but I was really fed up at that. And I've had so many conversations about friends who I work who play on Broadway about this, and it's just to me, it's such a blessing to me because I'm able to, play music for a living, and it's not grueling to me. Now, I have figured out what works for me and what doesn't. Mm-hmm. When I was younger, I was working, the late closing shifts. I was playing 5-6 times a week, drinking a lot.
How many days a week are you playing at the Supper Club right now?
So I play 2 with my band,
which is incredible. Because that's not too much time to just destroy your personal life.
No, for sure. And your vocal
my
cords,
God.
You have to be very careful there.
Some of our friends who go and do triples and sing.
I could never.
12 hours a day.
Yeah, I could never do that.
And at the end of it, they sound kind of like this.
I know. I used to do doubles back in the day. And
It sounds brutal.
I can't do it. And I don't really drink much anymore because I have found alcohol is really tough on my voice.
Really hard on your voice.
Really hard. And I'm okay giving that up because it makes me feel like crap anyway. Like as I'm, in my later 20s, I'm just like hangovers are just not the vibe anymore.
Oh my
like,
God. Hangovers I'm almost 30. Hangovers are brutal.
I can't do it. Like I was
hungover for 2 days after New Year's this year. Like,
oh no, that's terrible.
It's not the same.
No.
I remember when I was 21, I could drink a whole bottle of gin and go for a run the next morning.
Right.
And if I have 2 glasses of red wine, I'm like, I think I'm gonna die.
Yep. Like back in those days, I was like, oh, I could party 3 nights in a row and just get trashed each night, and I'll be fine come Monday. And I'm like, I have one night where I have like 4 cocktails and I'm like, my life is over.
My life is over.
The next day I'm like, I want to die. And it's just like crazy. But yeah. So
what are some of the pitfalls of being a Broadway performer? Like, especially since you know what it's like to have done those doubles before.
Yeah.
What are some of the hardest parts of being a Broadway performer?
I think just as a singer, I think it's sometimes scary, worrying about your vocal health. I don't do that as much anymore because I've worked with my bosses and they've been just so wonderful and understanding because I had to step back a little bit this year. I went kind of hard last year.
What kind of things do you do to protect it? To protect your voice?
Yeah. So my biggest thing is just not drinking. Like I still do. Like, I'll still have a bloody at brunch or a glass of wine at dinner, but like I don't really drink much on gigs anymore.
You're not taking shots of whiskey during your set?
No, unfortunately. I've actually heard that helps. But yeah, but I can't. No, I don't do that. I try to drink more water. I'm pretty bad at drinking water.
We say as we both have glasses of water in front of us that we've barely touched.
It's so bad, yeah. But one thing I have also found that helps, both the venues I play at are on in-ear systems. And I crank myself. Like I'm very loud.
So you don't have to oversing.
Exactly. And it's because it's very easy to oversing when you can't hear yourself. So I crank myself. And
That's awesome.
A lot of times, everything else is very down. Like, especially like at Ole Red, since the drums are right behind me and they're very loud, I have no drums in my ears at all.
Wow.
No bass.
And you don't need them.
Yeah, no. Because I just hear, I go off of the room from my ears.
I just need the guitar.
I literally just need the guitar. That's it. And
everyone else can hear everything.
Yeah, exactly. And and I just crank myself. I crank the reverb up because that helps a lot too. Just
That's
like
cool.
The echo helps with my pitch and just
That's
making
awesome.
sure I don't, oversing and all that kind of stuff. So I think the biggest pit for me would just be like worrying about my vocal health because I had issues in the past. And
what's it like trying to be not just a good singer and a focused in tune singer, but also trying to entertain at the same time? That's a big part of it.
And that's another thing for Broadway. I love because it forces you to entertain, and it's not even like I don't say that dauntingly. It's just like when you get on a stage in front of people as a musician, you just naturally want to entertain or just like put on a show. And
it's a show. Like it's the word.
It's a show. Oh my God. Yeah. And it's actually gotten a lot easier for me over the years. And that's actually, I feel like my strongest link in my career. It used to be my weakest.
Wow.
And because of downtown, I've gotten a lot better at performing in front of crowds and know how to talk to a crowd, or at least I think I do. But
working a crowd is so important.
Oh, it is. Absolutely it is. And it's just,
and it's so easy to lose an audience too.
Yes. And I take it very seriously too, because, these people, a lot of them are from out of town, and a lot of them save up money. They get babysitters. They have to get Airbnbs, flights, or gas. And this may be the one vacation they take out of the year, and they choose to come to Nashville over anything else. They could go to the beach. You know what I mean? Like they come to Nashville and they want to hear live music and they want to experience that. And I want to make sure they have a good time. So, if I get a request to sing a happy birthday to someone, I want to make it special for them.
Because they're gonna go home and tell it.
Yeah.
The girl on stage sang happy birthday to me.
Yeah, or just like in song requests too.
That's cool.
I'll never forget like one time somebody told me, because I used to not really do song requests because they scared me. Because it's like, oh, like I don't know this perfectly. Like, but I'll never forget someone told me, like, Rachel, they just want to hear you try. They just want to hear you try it. Right. And it's so true. Like, because I'll do requests where I'm like, I have no idea what this bridge is. Let's skip it. I'm like, us and Luke, just play a solo here. And then we'll just do the last chorus because I don't know what the bridge is.
They want to hear about 30 seconds of the song.
That's all they want. That's all they want. And like, and they are just happy to hear the song, period. So I just want to like make that an exciting experience for them. And it's really, you know, fulfilling on my end when I see them have fun with, you know, the people they're there with and just having a really good time.
Because nobody's going to Broadway to have a bad day.
No.
They are there to
drink
have fun.
and party. And yes, they want to hear songs they love and, you know, hear a band play that. And it's really
I've seen
great.
a kind of an unfortunate trend happening lately where I've seen people posting on their Instagram stories that guests of some of these bars are requesting their money back because they don't get their requests played.
Oh,
and
I see.
I'd love to know your take on that because I think if you put that money in the jar, it's gone.
I agree. Yeah, that I agree with that. I've never had someone request that money back to me before. I've had someone accidentally pay me. Like there was a woman who Venmo tipped me when she was in town, and like a week later she was paying a friend for some shirts and she paid me by mistake. Oh, so I sent it back.
Right.
But I will be honest, sometimes I'll get to the end of the night and I'll tell people we only have 2 more songs in the requests and then we have to cut it off. And people don't hear, because I want to get through all the requests, and people don't hear me say that, so they'll send more requests. So like, say I have 2 more songs left, somebody sends me $20 for Before He Cheats, but I have to be done at midnight. You know, I'll Venmo them the next day the $20 and say, hey, I'm so sorry we didn't get to do Before He Cheats. Right. You know, give it to me next time when you're here. I got you. So that I do that. To be honest, I don't really understand not playing the requests though.
Right.
Like, I will be honest with you. I have purposely not done a request.
Is because it's a bad request?
No, it's because they give me like, well, if it's a song I don't know and they give me $1, I'm just kind of like,
can you play Master of Puppets? Here's $1.
Right.
You're
that's
like,
when I'm like,
nah.
That's when I'm like, you know what I mean? If they give me like $1 for a song I know well, I will do it. But yeah, like that kind of thing. I'm just like, yo,
it's like $2.
And sometimes people don't know how to read the room either, because I'm just like, you know, I'm like, hey, like I'm singing like a bunch of girl songs. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't really know this like bro country song. Like, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I can't sing She's Country.
I love that song though, but I'm like, hey, like you don't want to hear me sing that. Like,
no, you do
I just
not.
sang an Alicia Keys song. Like, you don't want me to hear me sing She's Country. I promise it will make your beer taste bad. Like,
I would love to hear you do weird bro country covers.
I've done it before. I
think
do
it'd
like
be
whiskey
hilarious. A video
sometimes.
series, Rachel Horter covers bro country.
Yeah.
And it's you singing like...
Wait, that would actually be a really funny
it'd be really
TikTok
funny.
idea.
Oh my God,
I'm
sing bro
stealing that.
country stuff.
Yes. What if you did like a bro country song? Like it could be like... my boyfriend loves Rain Is a Good Thing. Or he calls that song out. I'm like, what if I did that like R&B version and just like started riffing everywhere?
I would love to hear an R&B version of Beer Never Broke My Heart.
Yes, I actually love that song. We play that in San Diego.
Great song.
It's such a blast. I love it.
Luke Combs is one of those artists that's kind of helping bridge the gap between my hatred of country and like good country music. Because when I was younger, like we're the same age, and I was thinking that I think we're the same age. Maybe I turned 30 this year.
Oh, I just turned 28.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit older than you, but I remember being in high school and these people, everyone in Missouri is like Jason Aldean and Luke Bryan and Keith Urban and all of these like very stadium country people. And I never knew about the Chris Stapletons and the Jason Isbells. I never had any idea about these other people. So I was under the impression all country music was FGL.
Oh my God.
And
no way.
When I started getting into Nashville and realizing, oh my God, there's a great big world of actually good country music out there.
There's so many. It's something different for everyone. Because I love FGL. There's some like, there's a song their song Dirt. Mm-hmm. I love that song. Like I love that chorus, and it was playing the other day in a restaurant. That's probably a
Broadway standard, isn't it?
Let's go! Like I love it because I have my fair share of like the bro country rock stuff, and then like the more chill like Chris Stapleton kind of vibes. Like it's just like there's something for everybody in country, and I love that.
That's one of the cool things about Nashville is how diverse the music scene is here.
Yeah.
Like people expect to hear country, but you're an R&B artist here. Like there's so much here.
And that's the thing too, like at Supper Club, if like,
you're not expected to play country covers there, are you?
I'm not. No. And
what kind of stuff are you doing there?
So I do a lot of like pop and R&B stuff. And I even like to throw it back to like 2000s stuff. Like I'll do like Killing Me Softly. Ooh. I'll do like Put Your Records On. You remember that song? Mm-hmm. Like that kind of stuff. Or like Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. Oh, yes. I'll do that. I'll do like Michael Jackson. I'll do some Whitney. But I'll even do some country too. I play like
Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy.
I do. That's what I open with at Supper Club.
Is it really?
No. I would love to.
Oh, you got me.
I had somebody request AC/DC one time at Supper Club, and I was like, all right.
We're going to try it.
Let's do it. But yeah, for the most part, I do a lot of the more chill type stuff. And
it's more of
love it.
It's not as much of a let's get drunk and party vibe.
No. There's still like dancing and stuff that happens, but it's like, it's not... It's a really chill, like loungy kind of space, and like that's my vibe, man.
That's
like,
much more you.
Yes, that's because I love doing that, and anytime I do like private events, I love doing like the background noise, cocktail hour sort of vibe stuff. Like it's really fun for me, and just
easy listening.
Yeah, and like the musicians I play with are just so wonderful, and I mean they make me sound good, man. And just
Austin Skinner's in your band, right?
He is.
He is.
I love him.
He is. Remarkable guitar player.
He is, and like one of my favorite voices. I love hearing him sing, and he's just they get to jam out and
how long have you played with this little core group?
Oh gosh,
because I feel like you have a pretty set of people. I do, right?
Yeah, but it's changed so much over the years. Let's see. So my two guitar players, Luke and Austin. I started playing with Austin, I think like September 2020.
Okay.
Luke joined.
What does Luke play in your band?
He plays guitar and bass.
Okay. And
I think our first gig was New Year's Day 2021.
Okay.
At Whiskey Row. Kevin McClellan on bass. I just started playing with him regularly last year because Brogan Dutcher was with me before that.
Okay.
And he moved to Los Angeles last April. Yeah. So I started playing with, it was Brogan, and then it was Nir Horowitz. He was on bass after Brogan. And Nir actually, so he's from Israel. And he recently moved back to Israel to work on an album with some buddies who got signed over there. So so he was like... my guy, and then it was Kevin, and they're all just, oh my God, so great. And then Connor, my drummer, he's been with me probably regularly like a year and a half now, but like before that he was like, he subbed a lot with me and stuff like that. And so,
what's the process of you trying to find a band look like? Are you just getting recommendations, or do you see somebody play, or is it everything? To
be honest, I get a lot of recommendations from the boys.
Okay.
It's all, like I also like see people play, or I've played with them in like other bands that I've sang like BGVs in, or the corporate band and stuff. But a lot of it's from recommendations with them, because they're all so phenomenal such phenomenal players, and they know phenomenal guys, and I want it to be someone that they're comfortable with, too. You know what I mean?
Throwing in a random person can make it like a dysfunctional group.
For sure, yeah. But like for the most part, it's like a lot of times if one of them's out, they'll either get it covered for themselves, or they'll just send me some guys and be like, hey, these guys are all great. And I like literally don't even do research. I trust them. I don't care. Like I hit them up and I'm like, hey, I'm a friend of my, or you're a friend of my guitar player, bass player, drummer, and he recommended you to me. Are you available for this?
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's really nice.
How has the Broadway scene and your performing on Broadway for so long affected your own music?
You know, honestly, I feel like it's made my voice better. Okay. Because I've learned a lot of like dynamics about my voice and especially how, like working a microphone. That's like an art in and of itself as a singer. Now it's very different when you're in the studio. That's a whole different ball game, working a microphone there.
Working under the microscope's difficult.
Yeah, for sure. And, but it's like, I feel like it's made me a better singer. It's also made me more motivated, to release music. Because like I said earlier, with my job, like I have the ability to play in front of people from all over the place without, leaving my own bed. Like I literally can play in front of people from everywhere and everywhere, go sleep in my own bed.
Music's such a universal language for that.
It is. And a lot of people I have met through Broadway have become fans of my original music.
That's awesome.
Over time. Exactly. That's why, like, that's another thing why I'm like, I don't understand why people like talk shit on Broadway. Because I'm like, bro, like you get in front of so many people.
You can make real life fans doing this.
Exactly. And you don't have to go anywhere. Now, I love traveling for music, of course. But I'm like, you literally can do it in your own backyard. And like, you work 4 hours and then go home. It's like, it's amazing. Like,
we have a pretty crazy, awesome life here.
Don't we? I know.
Think about it all the times. Like, I get my job booking music and hanging out at the venues with my friends. I'm getting paid to do what tourists do for vacation.
I know.
It's crazy. And you get paid to be in a band.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's the best.
And out of this town, like it sounds fake.
I know.
It sounds fake.
That's why I'm just so thankful for like all these venues in town because they give that opportunity to us. And it's also like a working relationship, like we provide music for them and they provide the venue for us. It's like, it's so amazing. And like, I don't know about you. I've always been curious to ask you this because I was just talking with a couple friends when I was playing the round the other night at the local. Like, I was like, I don't know how Aaron is like, because what do you have tour stop like 4 nights a week?
Right now it's between 2 and 4 nights. Yeah.
Okay. So, and then you book, 16 to 20 people.
A night.
And I'm just like, I don't know about like, I personally love like sitting at my computer. Cause like I have my day job where I'm playing downtown, but my career job, like I sit at my computer until I go to work and send emails and I coordinate my bands and send set lists. I personally really love doing that and booking everyone.
The admin stuff is so fun.
Right? Like I always wondered if you do a lot more than me in that way. Like I always wondered if I'm sure it's stressful at times for you, but I enjoy it a lot.
I mean, I've always been such a nerd for spreadsheets.
Oh my God, yes.
I geek out over color coding so much.
I always wondered how you have that like down and everything. Like I bet you have it really organized.
The Nashville tour stop calendar. There's only me and one of my promoters named RJ who works for me. He is the only other person who really understands the calendar because there's just so much data in it.
Yeah.
Like you're color coded. Every time I book Rachel Horter, your name pops up it's like dark red because it means you have an accompanying guitar player. So I keep stats on the performers so that I know who's bringing what and how much we need. So like if we need to have 5 stools on the stage, I know that, and we can have that 5th stool prepared.
Yeah.
Or if we have a band playing, I'll send all of the specs to our sound people ahead of time so they can have the stage ready.
Oh my gosh,
it's little things like that I just loved formatting into my spreadsheets.
And you could sit there at your own space and just light a candle, have Phyllis sitting next to you and just like vibe. I love that
into
stuff,
my
man.
spreadsheets.
Yes.
It's wonderful for my type A personality.
Yeah, me too.
I'm pretty type A. I hate admitting that I am, but I absolutely am.
I wasn't always like that. And now,
really?
Now I'm very, I'm very particular about that kind of stuff and how it all looks.
I'm
in my
very
house
particular.
too.
I have the way I like things to be done.
Yeah.
And I expect people in Nashville treat their jobs or treat their music like a job. And some people don't. And you can see that's why they're maybe not having as much success as other people. But if you show up late to your gigs or you don't, yada, 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 like there's people who are doing these things and that's why it's happening. But I like to keep track of all that, and giving somebody a thumbs up or whatever is seeing those numbers in those spreadsheets live and breathe with one another.
Oh, yes.
It's
the best.
It tickles that. It tickles that thing.
That spot in your brain.
It tickles that spot in my brain that, like, I don't dread looking at my calendar.
No,
I love scrolling through it and being like, and there's an opening. Whoop, and this is.
Oh, it's so satisfying.
It's so satisfying.
I love it.
And it's like a big puzzle figuring out who can I put in together that's going to want to hang out tonight, or who do I want to hang out with, or has Rachel seen Brandon Ellis lately? Should I book them on the same night?
Yes. Oh, that's the best.
I know so much of my job is getting my friends together. It's not even for
I've noticed that.
It's not even for me. It's because my friends, we're all busy.
Yeah.
We're all doing the music, playing the shows, being on tour, recording albums and everything. It's hard to schedule time to get together.
Yes. And I love when you put me on around with friends too, because a lot of times I've written with them, right? So we can do the songs we've written together. I'm about to text Brandon after this too, because he's playing for me in our round on Thursday.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I was going to ask him, because one of our songs it's a given because it was on my EP, we'll play. But there's another one that we wrote that I haven't played since our basement show last May. And I was going to ask him if he's cool to play.
What's it called?
Options. Do you remember that?
I don't know
if you remember it. We played it during his set, I think, and we just like jammed on it.
I do remember that.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I think we should do that.
I have footage of that on my GoPro.
Oh my God, yes. Oh, I need to see that. But yeah, I love that dude, man. I love when I get to play with him.
I will sing the praises of Brandon Ellis forever.
He's the freaking best.
He's so talented, and that's one reason that Nashville's awesome, is it really does get the best of the best.
Yes.
And we all just get, it's sure we're competing, but we were happy for our friends when they get stuff.
That's yes, that's it. That's what I think separates this town too in the industry, from all the industry cities. Everyone's trying for the exact same thing, but everyone's so supportive of one another.
If someone gets a pub deal, we're not upset that they got signed.
We're at Red Door celebrating with them.
Yeah, we're at Red Door celebrating.
That's what we're doing. It's like, I've done that when Autumn Bicey, she got her pub deal. Sarah Jones, I was at, I think it was Losers.
Party.
Oh yeah. Like I was at both of their parties for that. Cause man, like you want to celebrate your friends who you work with. That is so essential too. Like, at least for me, for like my mental state when I'm, pursuing my career, it inspires me.
It's part of the community or the culture of Nashville.
Yes. Like, it's just, it's so true.
Celebrating our friends.
Yeah. And that's another thing when I went on that Instagram rant. One of the things in that TikTok was like, what did he say? It was like, he was talking smack on Music Row and like getting in rooms and Music Row and writing songs a certain way. It's just like, you know what? Like, I have friends who write on Music Row,
and they're awesome.
They make a lot more money than I do. They meet a lot more people than I do, and they inspire the shit out of me.
And you know what? Because you're friends with them, they may someday tell their publisher, "Hey, you need to hear this song that Rachel wrote."
Oh, I mean, yeah, you never. Well,
that happens.
Yeah, and that's something I never expect either.
Right.
But it's just like I've had friends who have done that because they're like, "Hey, I need to send my catalog into so and so. Are you cool if I add this and this?" And I'm like,
"Yep."
What? Don't ever ask me that again. Like yes.
That's happened to me one time where a friend of mine and I co-wrote a song. I never thought twice about it after we wrote it, but she pitched it at Smack.
Stop.
And I was like, awesome. Thanks. I never even thought about it again. But it's like, yeah, you never know who's going to get a deal and then may like that song. And someone may ask, do you have a song about X, Y, and Z? And they're like, actually, yes.
Oh, that is just the best.
It's cool.
I love it.
And all to say, circling completely back, it all happens here.
It all happens.
It doesn't happen anywhere else.
No, because it's all the every man for himself situation in a lot of other places, and I don't know. I love uplifting my friends and rooting for them, and because they do the same for me. We're all cheerleaders for one another, and that's huge.
And I think that TikTok is just a good example of what not to do. If you start sounding angry with the industry, it's probably a reflection of your anger with something that's going on in your life. And it's like, just because you don't like it doesn't mean you get to shit on it.
No, for sure. Because like in that case, I'm just like, go somewhere else, bro.
Go somewhere else.
Like,
if you hate Nashville, go try LA. Go try something else.
And I just, and that's another thing too. It's just like the bitterness is never something I never understood.
I have to fight that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard not to get bitter.
We all get there. We all get there and experience that feeling. But like, it's just, you realize that there's no utility in just sitting there and being bitter and mad at the industry. And realize that everyone, and that's another big thing too, comparison. Like, one of my favorite sayings is comparison is the thief of joy. And it is, because you sit there, and social media is hard because you'll see this person, got to open for so-and-so. What am I doing with my life?
Why didn't I get this?
Yeah, it's just all that. But you can't think like that because everyone has their own path. And I've especially fallen victim to it a lot just because I've went to pop. And pop isn't as big in this town. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every day, which I love that so much.
And I think it's partly because we have artists like Maren Morris and Kelsey Ballerini who are doing that.
Paving that way. Casey Musgraves.
Oh, absolutely.
She was hanging, and she even, in the pop culture world, she wins her Grammy and she's hanging out with the Kardashians and everything. It's just, that's so cool. And, I just have to remind myself, I have a very different path than a lot of my friends in the country music industry, and even my friends in the pop industry. I have a different path than everybody, and that is okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah, I love my job. I love getting to do what I do. I love my bosses. I love my band. It's just, those things I'm just so thankful for. And I'm it's gonna happen when it's gonna happen, and the way that it needs to. Too. So.
What a wonderful way to... I'm not even going to try to respond to that. Let's close on that.
Awesome. Okay.
Rachel, that was amazing.
Thank you.
Can you... Gosh, I'm just...
I've thought a lot about that. It's just
experiencing joy and being grateful for the things we do have.
Yes.
And the last thing I'll say on that is so many people get caught up in seeing these singing shows or the people who skyrocket to stardom. Sure, that happens, but watching a documentary, if you're watching a documentary about your favorite band, the best part is the 2 hours leading up to the stadium.
I know.
Watching the story happen. You know what's not riveting documentary storytelling? You got TikTok famous and now you're famous.
Which, it's definitely a pathway for people. It does
happen.
It does. And that's another thing, too. It's hey, if you're not getting the TikTok views, it's okay. Because guess what? You're going to get the views from something else. We don't know what it is yet. But, that's what you have to think about, right? Everything happens for a reason. Yep. Not everybody's religious. I am. I just think, God has that plan for me. And I'm going to keep doing me. I have to work hard and work intentionally. But if I'm not getting the views I want, that's okay. If I'm not getting playlisted on every song or any songs at all, that's cool.
Because we're all just one song away.
That's exactly it.
We're one song away.
It's never, it's when you least expect it sort of thing. I don't think anyone who has gotten TikTok fame expected it.
Right. It just happens.
It just happens. And they just put out some video that goes viral and you're like, what? That's...
And the next thing you know, you're putting the single out and then it's charting and then you're like, what the fuck? You're like, it's happening.
For sure.
This thing is happening.
Yeah. It's all such a surprise. And that's why, just enjoy life. Have fun. Keep doing what you're doing. Work intentionally. Don't just be it's going to happen for me, so I'm going to be lazy. You can't do that.
And don't be bitter.
Yeah, and don't be bitter. It's going to happen. I've just seen it way too many times to, not believe that anymore.
If you become a jaded musician, people start not wanting to hang out with that. Don't put bad vibes out.
And that's period. Because
period.
Because that's so true, dude. Like, it's the bitterness, like, and this town, although very kind and accepting, your reputation matters a lot.
Really a lot.
Yeah. And it's not like
it's
you
so
have
small,
to be like,
you can get a bad rep real fast.
So fast. And it's like, but it's not hard to be like, to have a good one, you know? And it's just like people pick up on the bitterness and they're like, man, I can't hang. Because it's just, you know, it can drag people down and just, that's just not a vibe.
Well, then we'll leave it with the, just be nice.
Just be nice.
Just be nice.
Yes.
Rachel, can you tell us where we can find you on the internet? Give us your plugs. Tell us where we can link up on the interwebs.
I love it. Yes. So you can find me at Rachel Horter, RachelHorter, on everything. And yeah, rachelhorter.com. That's where all my shows are posted. That's where all, you know, updates are. I just launched my new website.
Hey.
Shout out Gabe Atwood, Kimberly Atwood's husband.
Nice.
Just did my website and it looks so bomb. So join my mailing list for that. And and all that fun stuff. I am currently thinking that my next project is almost ready to go. I have an awesome group of songs I'm really excited about. I know. So once that gets close, I can start, you know, announcing some things, but just going to keep working through the summer and figure that out. So if you want to stick around for all that stuff, but that's where you can find me.
In the meantime, go watch her on Broadway.
Yes, I'm on Broadway. Come look me up if you're in town. I live there pretty much. That's my day job. So, and if you guys are listening from out of town or even in town and haven't met the fabulous Aaron, please come to a Nashville tour stop. It is one of my favorite show nights and one of the most successful show nights in Nashville.
Well, thank you.
Like one of the best.
We try.
Yes. Go meet him. Go meet the people.
I'll be nice.
Amazing. He's always nice. Aaron, I don't think Aaron has a mean bone in his body. I've never seen him be mean in my life.
I've got one.
Are you capable of yelling? I don't feel like you're like capable of like yelling or feeling anger ever.
I mean, just because it's harder to be mean.
It is harder to be mean.
I have to think like, what nasty thing could I say?
No,
I feel like I have to sit and think like, how do I be mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know how.
No, you're way too nice. But anyway, look up Nashville Tour Stop. It's the freaking best.
Well, in the meantime, go check out Rachel online. You can follow her at Rachel Horter and at rachelhorter.com. But follow us at Nashville Tour Stop on your social media platforms. Again, you can find us on the web at nashvilletourstop.com, where we have our show schedule, oftentimes including Rachel Horter.
Yay!
Well, Rachel, thank you for coming on the podcast today. Anything else you want to tell folks? How about a random Nashville tip? It doesn't even have to be music related. Random tip.
A random Nashville tip. Oh, I love this. Oh, God. I love this.
I panic whenever I think about it, but I always tell people not to eat at the East Nashville Taco Bell.
Oh, no. Okay, you're going to have to tell me that story because I haven't. So I'm glad you said something.
I mean, I used to live in East Nashville, so I'd go to the East Nashville Taco Bell sometimes after shows, and you go through the drive-thru and you're like, hi, can I get a crunch wrap and cinnamon twist? And they're like, yeah, so we're out of tortillas and cheese and steak and chicken and lettuce. I'm like, that's like everything
can I have
you have.
Some air?
Like, what do you have? And they're like, yeah, so we have like refried beans and Baja Blast. And I'm like, no, sure, give me 2 cups, one full of refried beans and one full of Baja Blast. Yeah. So don't go to the East Nashville Taco Bell.
Refried beans too, because they don't have cheese to put on top of it. A Nashville tip. Oh, I think I have 2.
Okay.
One of them is if you're visiting, I would say the best time to visit is like mid to late September because it's still warm, but everybody's back to school. So it's less crowded. It's so fun still. Mid to late September. Number 2, if you're here and you're on Broadway and you're hungry, go to the 5th and Broadway food court.
Assembly Food Hall is awesome.
That's what it's called, because all of the bars are tempting to eat in. However, it's sometimes a long wait to get inside of them. If you're here for CMA Fest, just forget it. You will never get in. It's like a 5-hour wait. The food's good in some places, but just go to Assembly Food Hall because it's like fast food counter service and all like local restaurants. that's what I like tell people. I'm like,
are you playing downtown during CMA Fest this year?
I am, just my normal stuff.
Just your normal stuff?
I think I'm just doing the normal, Friday,
I believe
Sunday.
this episode comes out CMA Thursday.
Really?
I think so.
Oh my gosh. Well, happy CMA Fest, everyone.
Happy CMA
to
Fest.
The future.
I'm in Cancun right now.
Oh my gosh. Good for you for escaping.
I didn't even plan it. My friend's getting married.
I do like CMA Fest. It's just wild.
It just happened
it's
that
hard
the
to
week
drive.
they chose to get married in Mexico was CMA. And I'm like, you know what?
Good on your friends.
Good time to be gone.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, friends. I love that.
Well, Rachel, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be sure to see you soon. Guys, thank you for listening to the Nashville Tour Stop podcast this week. Please remember to follow us online. You can follow me if you want to see pictures of my dog on Instagram. Phyllis is asleep on the couch right now. You'll hear more about her in more episodes to come. But in the meantime, please do remember that all roads lead right back here to the Nashville Tour Stop.